From the age of 4, I was raised as a Roman Catholic, coming here to Olam Church each Sunday, sitting through Mass, waiting for the end. Now, nearly 2 decades later, as a self-described lapsed Catholic, I'm curious as to why people in the modern age are still drawn to a higher power. How are religious and spiritual belief systems still ongoing and appealing in this modern consumeristic era? To answer my question, I'm going on a journey around Cambridge, meeting Quakers, Christians, Buddhists and the Hare Krishna movement to find out more, and can any convert me along the way? To start my spiritual quest, I'm here outside King's College to meet Hare Krishna. You might remember them from back in the day when George Harrison popularised their movement. Maybe I too can find some meaning.
My name is Raj from the Krishna Consciousness Society, and we are a spiritual society who bring together a group of students at the University of Cambridge every week.
After a group discussion about happiness, a guided meditation and some chanting, I then got to speak with a monk about the movement. So what is Hare Krishna?
Sure, so it's a term that many have heard of, but Hare Krishna, the main message is that there's what we call the soul. Many people call it the Atma or life force. So we're saying that this is the real us. And once we get into this layer of our identity, then we can experience real happiness.
So then, what is like a daily life for you?
Yeah, sure. Many people ask us this question actually, but as a monk, what do you do? In the morning is a very special time for us. So 4:30 until about 5:15, we sing various hymns together. And then after that, for about an hour and a half, we do our own private meditation. We chant a mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, on beads actually. So these are the beads. There's actually 108. It goes around 108. And on each bead we say the 16 words, and then we move to the next one. And then we try to do 16 rounds.
You clearly need a lot of dedication, as this process typically lasts 2 hours. What do you think it is that draws people to Hare Krishna?
I think naturally, like, we're seeing a world where it's pushing us towards questions. We're wondering why people are doing certain things in society, why we're not happy all the time, etc. And I think a lot of people, especially when they come towards Hare Krishna discourses or discussions, they see that a lot of the philosophy, it can actually answer a lot of the questions that they're often going through.
I guess the thing that makes me come every week is just seeing the smile on people's faces. Cambridge is such an intense place, people have so much work, so many deadlines, and for me especially, it's something I've never missed.
Continuing on with my path through Eastern religions, I've come here to the Cambridge Buddhist Centre.
You just bring your attention gently inwards and downwards, and paying attention to the sensations in the body, the soles of your feet, and gradually all the way up your body to the crown of your head. Sitting here, being mindful, we calm our experience down and we become aware of things that we normally ignore. I consider myself to be a Buddhist for the last 25 years or so, and I was ordained into the Triratna Buddhist order 18 years ago. I don't wear robes, I don't have a shaven head, but I try and practice according to basic Buddhist principles of kindness, of meditation, of concern for others, of cultivating insight and wisdom as best as I can in my daily life.
What are some of the practices that Buddhists do then?
I think we each do what we can in whichever way we need. My own personal practice is that I don't like doing a lot of ritual, but I do like doing a lot of study and meditation. Mindfulness and loving kindness meditation, and more imaginative meditations where I imagine what it would be like to be a bigger, better human being than I am now. But others might do it differently.
Why is there this rise in Buddhism in Western culture?
My sense is that the values of the modern West are not providing satisfaction for a lot of people. For myself, that's how I came into Buddhism. I had a midlife crisis. The values of a post-Christian society with modern consumerism were just not giving me enough. I wanted something more. And I was fortunate in coming across it in Buddhism, and I just set myself going to do it as long as possible. It can seem quite rigorous. Getting up early and meditating every day is something I aspire to do. Not because I have to, but because it makes life better for me if I do it.
All right, thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Pleasure.
So what I liked about the Buddhists, from what I learned today, is that you can incorporate it into your daily life. You don't have to drastically rechange your entire way of living. It's very much down to trying to change yourself, and so there's a lot here that I can take away. So I've enjoyed my time learning from the Eastern religions and their ways of practice. But I think now I would like to explore other belief systems that are a little closer to home. And having heard about their commitment to social justice and peace, I'm curious to find out more about the Quakers. So I'm here on Jesus Lane to meet two Quaker elders. The Quakers were originally persecuted for rejecting Christian doctrine. I'm here to see what they have to say.
I guess the benefit is to belong to a community that allows me to be curious about beliefs and about theology. Yeah, there is a connection that we are seeking to tap into, because we appear to be separate beings, but in fact we are all connected.
Unlike other denominations of Christianity, Quakers do not have set services, as members sit in a circle and share silence, focusing on God or the deep voice within. Friends may then spontaneously contribute short thoughts, prayers, readings and reflections that then come to them.
We speak of it as somebody being moved to speak. And I have been in 2 or 3 meetings now at various times where I have felt that I should say something, but I've resisted because I wasn't sure. And somebody across the room will get up and say almost the same thing. So there is something, as far as I'm concerned, happening within the room that the message needs to be given. And I found that very, very moving 2 or 3 times now.
It's almost like a shared kind of consciousness.
Yes, that's right.
In that sense.
It's different than meditating on your own.
If I took away Quaker from my life, it would be pretty empty.
My next stop is in the C3 Church on Coldham's Lane. They've received attention for their contemporary methods of worship that incorporate elements of rock concerts.
So I'm here at the C3 Church with Pastor Steve Campbell to find out more about the Christian faith and what is the draw for non-believers. So what type of Christianity do you practice?
We have deep roots, long history, Orthodox faith. Theologically, we describe ourselves as charismatic and evangelical.
Are you seeing any growth in the number of members to the church?
Yeah. Churches like ours in the UK would be the ones that maybe are bucking the trend of decline. And I'm not knocking other churches in saying this. This would be true of me in my youth. Some people don't go to church today because they went to church when they were younger, and it's just put them off. So we've sought to not mess with the message, because that stayed the same as many other churches, but we have tried to develop methods of presenting that message that is relevant for the 21st century. So I think one of the reasons we have grown, which we have significantly over the last few years, is because of the way we present our message, but we've sought to make sure we have style and substance, but in a 21st century contemporary way.
What reason do non-believers give for coming to the C3?
I think it's twofold. I think it is the community, because I think the more we love technology, we use it as best we can, but it can isolate people sometimes. You know, I've got a lot of friends on Facebook, but are they really friends? So you can be isolated, and I think people have found a depth of relationship that they perhaps didn't have before. But I think attached to that, it's a community with a cause. People want to live for a bigger reason. And so it's not just about being together, it's about being together to do something. I mean, people talk about there's no big story, there's no meta-narrative, there's nothing bigger to live for than just yourself. We beg to differ.
Thank you, Steve.
Pleasure.
I've now reached the end of my journey through belief. In the beginning, I was skeptical about the impact religion has on people's lives, the unending wars, the persecutions, and the corruptions. They influenced my thinking that there was no place for it in our modern world. And whilst I remain a skeptic about the belief in a divine or any higher power, I've met with people who have convinced me that religion can and does serve a great purpose for people in their daily lives. Whilst I haven't been converted, I can clearly see that there are aspects to having a faith that come with non-belief benefits.